So again, ha-mitzvahs ha'elu, these mitzvahs that we really pretty much ignore, these are the Yesodei HaTorah v'Ikrei HaYahadus. That's where you're going to get the foundation for learning Torah and the Ikrei HaYahadus, the main focus of Judaism. Bahem tzarech lahashkia es kol hakochos haruchniim. In them, we should be putting in all of our effort. Again, you still have to put on tefillin, you still have to daven, you still have to learn, you still have to do mitzvahs. But the toil and the effort, breaking your head, has to be pushing up your amunah and bitachon, your ahavas Hashem, your yiras Hashem, higher and higher, and working it higher and higher. And that's what those mitzvahs that the Rambam is talking about, these mitzvahs, we have to be mekayim, mahadrin, mina mahadrin, ulisyagea todir, and to constantly be toiling. Lahaseg oisam, to comprehend them, bedargi iloyis biyosim. Im zeh mitzvah semuna, whether it's in the mitzvah, in the command to believe in God's existence, to work on ourselves, shetiya emunah soizaka ubrura, that our emunah should be pure and clear, without any mixture, should be pure and clear emunah, betachlis, with complete emunah. Very many of us remember our grandparents. Many of our grandparents, they didn't know that much because of the war. Even before the war, sometimes they didn't have the best education systems. They went to work at 13. But they had emunah. They had emunah brura, clear. They had emunah zaka, pure, betachlis, betiach hakuko b'moichoi v'libai. It's written wrong. B'moichoi v'libai, it should be chakuka. It should be chakuk. It should be engraved. It should be. It's not engraved, it's like, carved in our hearts and our minds, v'adei varav, until our limbs, b'bechinas, like a concept, kol atzmoisai, toimarna Hashem michamoicha. It should be so much a part of us, it should be like my bones, my atzmoisai are screaming, are saying, Hashem michamoicha. So sai in emuna, and sai when it comes to the next mitzvah of in the mitzvah of loving Hashem, liyageya atzmoi, to toil, lekaima, to be mekayim, it shetiya al derech hamuvur b'Rambam, that it should be like the Rambam says, Keitzad hi ha'ahava ha'ru'uya, says the Rambam, what is the befitting amount of love that I should feel towards Hashem? Think about how far away we are from this, and this is not an extra credit. This is the Yesod HaYesodis and Iker HaYahadus. How should I feel? I say every day. We all say, V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol maidecha. We love Hashem. Am I in love with Hashem? Do I have a love affair with Hashem? How many times throughout the day do I think about how much I love Hashem? The Rambam is not scared to say these words. Keitzad hi ha'ahava ha'ru'uya. Listen to where we have to grow to. Imagine living our lives without this. Sheyevas Hashem, we should love Hashem. Ahava gedoylo yiseira aza ma'oid. We should love Hashem with a tremendous love, extra yiseira, overflowing love, aza, strong, ma'oid. Ki'ilu choyle ahava, as if I'm lovesick. The only sample that we really usually have of lovesick in our machna is maybe during an engagement period, not by Hasidim, by Litvish people, by Yeshivish people, when you dated and you decided to get engaged, and in that period, maybe the week that you don't even speak before the wedding, there's a certain tension, there's a feeling of I miss you. You can't miss someone when they're always around, even if you get along well. So lovesick is very tough to find. Not many people are zeicha to a level of lovesick. And the Rambam is saying that is what we should be. We should be lovesick to Hashem. Kilu choyle ahava, as if I'm sick from love from you. This is very, very high, I know. But we can work on ourselves a little bit every day. And I'm busy with this love. when I'm sitting, when I'm standing, wherever I'm going. That's the mitzvah of Ahavas Hashem. Oy b'mitzvah Yiras Hashem. Or the commandment to fear Hashem. Hamaschila min hayira hapshuta, which begins with simple fear. Such simple fear. Yiras ha'einish. I'm scared I'm going to get patched. Hashem has everything. I'm scared to go against His will. It's very hard in our dar to feel any yira because the whole concept of yira is sucked away. People used to be scared of goyim, of getting beaten. They had fear in their lives. And then at least when I grew up, we were scared of the police. Now people are like, I have power. The police doesn't have power. What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? They have that little cam on them. They can't even do anything to you if they want to. And we feel very powerful. So we don't really have yira. Yira is very hard to come by. But there's a mitzvah of Yiras Hashem to think about it and to contemplate it and to realize that Hashem is the Almighty, the All-Powerful. And when I do something against Him, I should be scared. And that's the lowest level. But it goes up higher and higher, ad lidargas iloyis b'yiras haraymimus, to a high level of the fear of Yiras haraymimus. Yiras haraymimus is just when you're standing before somebody so great. Just imagine that there was a person who was 50 feet tall. Just imagine the Jolly Green Giant. And you would stand in front of him and you would just have a certain awe because this person is just so huge. So not that I'm scared of him, Yiras ha'einish, that he's going to step on me if I call him a bad name. No, I'm not scared of his might, right? Yiras ha'einish, I'm in awe of this huge thing. But guess what? It doesn't have to be only a huge thing. The Chavetz Chaim was very short. I don't know how short, but he was really short. But if we saw the Chavetz Chaim, people who saw the Chavetz Chaim, or a lot of different tzaddikim, Tzaddikei Elyon, Tzaddikei Hadar, there was a certain fear that gripped you. You lost your jokingness, you lost your smile. There was a certain fear that gripped you. It's a Yiras haraymimus. Being scared, being in awe, being in fear of something so much greater than me. And if we contemplate the greatness of Hashem, the glory of Hashem, so then of course we're going to have this certain feeling. But if I don't, then I could still do the mitzvahs and I could still daven and I could still do sukkah and I could eat the matzah and I could do everything and I could be medaktik and I should be. And it's mahadrin and my tzitzis is mahadrin and my esrog is mahadrin. But I'm missing out on the feelings that I have to think about and contemplate. Before whom am I standing? Who am I serving? Ba'al-piyah yedua. And as we know, shekol mitzvahs mitarig mitzvahs, yesh kenegda ba'adam. Hakoil ramach evarim mishasa gidim, ever meyuchad. We know that for all the 613 mitzvahs, it's divided up into 248, which are connected to Evarim, our limbs, B'shesa Gidim, and 365, which is again connected Gidim. I always forget what Gidim is. It's right? Yeah, you know what it is, right? There's the Evarim and the ligaments. Right, that's the word. And that together is 613. So even though we don't feel it, but when I'm doing a certain mitzvah, it is connected a certain part of my body. It could be my toe, my knee, my elbow. But hari mitzvahs elu, these mitzvahs, have a yira, emunah, bitachon, mitzvahs shebelev, they are heim bebechinas evarim shaneshama tluya bahem. They're connected the vital organs of a person. Person can lose an arm. He could still live and move on. But if his heart stops, he's dead. If his brain stops, brain dead. Can't function with certain organs in our body if they stop working. Says the Nesivas Shalom that every mitzvah from Taryag mitzvahs is connected a different part of our body. But the mitzvahs of Ahavas Hashem and Yiras Hashem, Emunah and Bitachon are connected, the vital organs, Shanashama Tuluya Bahem, that our soul is Tali Bahem. Just like our guf is Talui in those vital organs, so to our soul Our avodas Hashem is totally in these organs of ahavas Hashem, yiras Hashem, emunah, and bitachon. Ukedugmas hamoach v'halev, just like the heart and the mind. Shebel adam areu kameis, without them we're dead. Kach kol nishmas hayahadu, so to the whole soul of our Yiddishkeit. Tuluya binyanim elu, it depends on this thing. This thing that we don't really work on. This part of us that we don't really focus on. This part of us that we don't really teach our children and infuse them with this energy and this life and this connection to Hashem. And then we wonder, how come sometimes I'm doing avodas Hashem, but it's so dry. I'm not feeling connected. The answer is these things are, mitzvahs is a lashon of tzivsa, which is a lashon of connection. It's meant to connect you, but if you do it without understanding that and not for that, then I did it without the connection. I'll give you an example. A person can buy his wife flowers, but if it's just something that he does, it's on his list. Erev Shabbos, buy challah. Erev Shabbos, buy flowers. So he didn't connect to his wife, and he didn't connect to Shabbos. Now, why is it on the list? Because that's what's going to connect me. Yeah, I once knew that. When I put that in 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, or when my chassan teacher told me, you buy challahs and flowers Erev Shabbos, and you do this, and you do as many other examples that I do, it's an order that you should find favor by Shabbos. You should find favor in your relationships. There was once a reason why. Yeah, I remember that. When I bought an anniversary card, there was a reason why. When I bought a birthday card for somebody, there was a reason why. But eventually, we do the thing without even thinking about the reason why, and therefore, I do it, it's given, it's done, I did my preparation for Shabbos, but I don't feel close to Shabbos, because I did it without realizing I am now going to do this because I want to connect to Shabbos. I want to do this so I can connect to Hashem. A person can learn Torah, and before he learns, he could say, I'm going to learn Torah's Hashem, because when I learn Torah of Hashem, I am connecting myself to Hashem, and there are yiratzins and l'shem yichuds that we're supposed to say. And then his learning, he's still doing the thinking and the arguing and the fighting and the understanding, just like the guy next to him. But the other guy is doing it the same as if he's playing a game of chess. He's not connecting to anything bigger or better or different. He's just trying to learn the material. He's doing it the same as if he's trying to understand any science homework, math homework. He's not connecting to anything. And that's such a waste, because with a little bit of thinking beforehand and working on ourselves, then those sessions of learning, whether it's daf yomi, or whether it's 10 minutes, or it's an hour, or whether it's 3 hours, and we have people learning all day, and the whole day goes by, and the last thing they think about is God. Yeah, technically, if a guy asks you, why are you sitting and learning all day? He's going to say, because I want to be a Ben Torah. Oh, you want to be a Ben Torah? Why do you want to be a Ben Torah? Well, because I believe that this is God's Torah. Oh, so why are you learning God's Torah? Oh, yeah. So the reason is because by doing that, I'm going to be very holy. Oh, that's what it is? So it's about you that you should be holy? No. I want to be very holy because I want to live a higher life. Oh, you want that for you to live a higher... No. I want to live a higher life so after I die, I can go to Gan Eden. That's not why we do this. It's a nice byproduct, but that's completely self-absorbed. I'm going to work for a company, and I'm going to work because I want to get paid. And I'm going on Sunday because I heard that they pay double on Sunday. And I'm not missing work because I don't want to get docked pay. And I want to continue to be working. I want to come on time because I want to grow in the company so I can make more money. And I want to make more money so I can make more money. And then I want to do all of that so when I'm 65 years old, I can retire and be on a pension. Beautiful plan. Smart guy. No connection to the actual company. He couldn't care less if it's this company or that company. Doesn't matter what company it is. It's whatever company I'm working for. Doesn't have to believe in the product. Doesn't think about it after he goes home. Doesn't connect to the item that he's working for. When he gets a new manual, he's studying the manual to learn how the machine works, because that's what I got to do. I got to study a manual because the machine has to work. Why? Because they need the machine for the company. I have a guy who comes here to fix the photocopy machine. He cares about the photocopy machine? He cares about what the photocopy machine is photocopying. He cares about what's being produced. Nothing to do with it. He became a photocopy guy. He went to a course or something. He learned on the job, who knows. And then when there's a new photocopy machine they delivered over here, he had this huge manual and he's learning the manual. He's toiling, but he's not connecting to a photocopy machine. When we're learning a sefer, when we're doing a mitzvah, when we're doing the things that we're doing, are we doing it to connect to Hashem, or we're just toiling? And of course we get schar. It's not about the schar. You'll get schar. And of course it's the best life even if you turn your brain and your heart off. It's still a better life. And you'll get schar in Olam Haba. And you'll avoid, Gehenim and bad stuff. And you're a wonderful person. And you're fantastic. But what a missed opportunity to live your life without your brain and your heart. That's what he's talking about. V'lachin kol ikara avoda. He says, therefore, this is the one of the crescendos of why he's telling us why we're spending all this time and energy. Is he says, therefore, kol ikara avoda tzricha liyos bahem. The main toil, the main avodas Hashem that we do, needs to be in those things, l'kaimam, to be mekayim them, to fulfill these mitzvahs, b'chol ha'hidurim, with all the pitchifkis, with all the hidurim, making it as beautiful and wonderful. Kol echad l'fi erkoi v'asagasai, like he said in the last chapter, every person according to his level. Unfortunately, we can't do it according to the level of the tzaddikim. We're white belts, we're yellow belts. It's going to take time to be a black belt, but we got to get there. Every person has to get there, to get to the point that my hidur mitzvah is in the mitzvah of emunas Hashem, ahavas Hashem, yiras Hashem. That's where I'm focusing my hidurim. You could still have a beautiful esrog, and you should have beautiful tzitzis, and those are actually pretty easy. All those hidurim, and some of them are hard. Do that also. But the ikra hidur is in the ikra avoda that determines who I am. When I'm not learning and when I'm not working, I'm not supposed to be the same person as the guy. My time off is not supposed to be the same time off as a guy. My after hours when I punch out of work is not supposed to be, okay, the guy doesn't think about his assembly line and his job and all of that. And I don't think about, I'm disconnected from Ahavas Hashem and Yiras Hashem and all of that. There is no disconnecting. That's aside from the point. But the main thing is to understand that this is our avodah. Let us accept every person on their level, every person according to what they can comprehend. Because you can't go outside and zap yourself with 100% of boom, Yiras Haremus, you'll go crazy. We have to go slowly, but don't forget it. We have to contemplate and work on ourselves and yigia and be mahader. Be mahader in amunah. Such a beautiful word. We're used to saying, okay, hidur mitzvah, I'll get the more expensive mezuzah. I'll get the better shmura matzah. Very nice. I'll get the better tzitzis with the thicker, and the better. Beautiful. But what about being mahader in our machshava, in our mind, and in our heart, in the things that make us who we are before we act the way we need to act? Who we are. Ikar hayadus. What is ikar hayadus? Go ask somebody, by the way, what is the ikar hayadus? And they'll look at you like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? You went to school? We put $250,000 of tuition money into you. You went to school for 4 years. Forget about elementary school, but we should know it in elementary school. 4 years of Mesivta and 4 years of Beis Medrash and Koil and seminary. And you're sitting and you're learning. You're 25, you're 30, you're 35, you're 40, you're 45, you're 50. What is ikar hayadus? And a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't focus on it. They work and they act, but they do it like a robot instead of doing it with the mayach and with the leiv. Our job is to start a journey upward, to include our mayach and our leiv in our actions, and to see what happens, because eina daima. You can't compare somebody who's doing a mitzvah feeling connected to Hashem, who's living feeling connected to Hashem. And also, it takes away stress. It takes away anxiety. Especially in our dar, we have so much pain, emotional pain. It helps a lot with anxieties and with depressions. I'm not talking about clinical and real major problems, which it also helps them have a positive attitude. You're not alone. These are the things that we have to inculcate and put in, be mashrish, ingrained into the hearts and minds of our children so they can succeed. But not only that, sometimes it's life and death. Sometimes it's what helps them to be able to make it as a Jew and to make it as a human being, not to fall apart, not to feel alone, not to feel abandoned, but to really have a relationship and be connected to something so much greater than us. Adam megleibt nicht. Either we believe or we don't believe. If we really believe, then what are we doing living our lives without focusing on Hashem? Even though we're running to do mitzvahs and we're doing it and we try our best, but without Hashem? Somebody said, terrible line, said the last place you find God is in the Beis Medrash. They're busy fighting and arguing over a Tosfos and Shosh and Agach Sapara, but there's no God there. It's a terrible line. It's not true. But if we did a brain scan of while they're learning, how much are they learning Torah's Hashem? How much are they thinking about Hashem? How much is it making them a kesher to Hashem? How much more connected are they to Hashem after that Seder is over? There's room for improvement for all of us, whether we're learning, whether we're doing other things in our days. And this is something that doesn't require. Of course, we can learn Nesivas Shalom, and there's a lot of good svarim. But even if there's no sefer around, you can sit there, you can meditate with your eyes closed, and you can connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can connect and work on your Ahavas Hashem. You could say, I love you, and you could try to increase that love until the highest levels, that you're lovesick over Hashem. To have emunah, a really deep belief, and emunah that He exists, emunah in Kol Ma'ada Ovid Rachmana L'Tav Ovid, that everything He does is good, emunah in Hashgacha Pratis, that nothing is going to happen to anyone, nothing happens to me unless Hashem wants it to happen to me, and that it's for my good even if it hurts. These are deep concepts that we need in order to survive, to have bitachon, that I'm not alone and I can rely on Hashem, and that I am a Ben HaMelech, as he said before in the last chapter. All of these things are things that we need to work on so much. That's the ikar of all of Avodas Hashem.